G'day folks, Connor here again, and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe and all that stuff, and let's get straight to the stories. Alrighty folks, this one was posted on True Off My Chest. It was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, "My dad is furious that my mum slept with other people in an open marriage he wanted." My parents got married when they were super young. My dad knocked up my mum, and their parents married them off. My grandfather was able to set up some business for my dad in a big city, and they moved here soon after my birth. My mum grew up in a conservative southern town where she was taught to be a submissive wife, and even after moving to the big city, she didn't spend much time socializing. She had no friends and never went out. My dad was only there to provide for us. He was always away on business, and he wasn't there as a husband for my mum or as a father to me. My dad made a lot of money, so we never lacked anything. Growing up, I became my mum's best friend. We would talk about everything. I pushed her to make friends and to find hobbies. After years of pushing, she started going to a nearby park and made her first friend, a gym trainer. Encouraged by her friend and me, she decided to join the gym. She met a few more people there and started having some semblance of a social life, but she still continued to tell me everything. I think my dad's new secretary gave him the idea, but he asked my mum for an open marriage almost a year ago. He told her he wasn't happy in their marriage and that she wasn't providing him with everything he wanted. My mum, who is a Christian wife, was mortified and told me about the proposal in tears. I suggested she get a divorce, but she said she didn't believe in it and she wouldn't be the one to end their marriage. As my dad pushed, I knew exactly where this would end up if my mum agreed. Her friend and I convinced her. My mum was hesitant at first, but she agreed with the condition that they would be completely transparent with each other. My dad was a middle-aged 41-year-old man with a belly, and my mum, 39, was an athletic woman who worked out regularly. I'm a 22-year-old woman, by the way. I don't know how my dad was so blind or what he thought would happen. I helped create online dating profiles for my mum almost 6 months ago. After getting an insane number of matches, choosing from them and chatting with them for months, my mum started hooking up with a few people. Getting all this attention has provided a massive boost to her confidence and she seems better. My dad hooked up with his secretary almost immediately. He's had very little luck with other ladies. With their transparency thing, my mum tells him about all her hookups. A few weeks ago, my dad screamed at my mum for some minor thing. Usually my mum would have apologised, but with her new confidence, she didn't back down. It's been constant fights the last few weeks. My dad keeps starting fights by making snide remarks about my mum's clothing or appearance. He almost even called my mum a hoe, but stopped himself. I think open marriage finally sunk in. My mum told me he tried to have a conversation about stopping their open marriage, but she immediately shot it down. I think they'll split up. My dad was never there for either of us, but the thought of my parents splitting up still feels weird. I don't feel bad for my dad, but I wish he put effort into his family. I'm happy for my mum though. That's a tale as old as time, isn't it? Hard to feel bad for this guy. Idiots like him never really seem to realise how one-sided that deal is. But hey, he's only got himself to blame, right? Let's go to the comments. Honestly, I might just sit down with some popcorn to watch this implosion. So he basically wanted his wife's permission to bang his secretary, and when that didn't work out, he thought his reserve, in other words, the wife, would be so grateful he'd come back to her that she would, immediately end all the attention and self-confidence she'd obtained? Obviously your dad never did his research. In open marriages, it's almost always easier for the woman to find a date than a man. He effed around and found out. Lots of finding out, little of effing around. He got what he deserved, and the secretary isn't probably there for the belly. It's a good thing that your relationship with your mum is this good and that she became so much more confident. Secretary wanted him to get a divorce and marry her. She wanted the money, not to be a side piece, lol. Oh, there's a Reddit post exactly like this. The OP of that post cheated with his secretary, thinking it was love. The secretary baby-trapped him because she thought he was rich, but in fact it was his wife he cheated on that was rich. Lol, instant karma and regret. F that guy. Laughing my effing ass off. Womp womp, the bozo wanted the open marriage. He didn't want an open marriage, he just wanted to bang the secretary. The open marriage stories I see always make me laugh. The man begs and begs for one, and then once he sees his wife getting all the attention whilst he's getting close to zero, an open marriage is suddenly not what he wants anymore. Good for your mum. Yeah, alright, onto an update, 1 month later. A few days after my previous post, my dad left our home and had a divorce served to mum in a week. My grandparents didn't know about any of this, but my dad told them when he served the divorce. He also implied to them that my mum was cheating on him. Both sets of grandparents came to our home and started berating my mum. I kept screenshots of all my parents' communications, and my mum showed them to them, and it got way worse after that. Grandparents started fighting each other, blaming each other's children for causing all of this. A few days after this, my mum's old church friends came to our home. Back when my mum used to go to church, they used to look down on her for being from a small town. My mum has always been a very caring and non-judgmental person, so she disagreed with their bigotry and they began excluding her from their activities. After she met her gym friends, my mum stopped going to church entirely. These church friends started calling my mum a hoe and she kicked them out. My mum is on a cut right now, so she has very defined abs and arms. So along with all the normal stuff getting thrown at her, my grandparents accused her of having a man's body, and she also had a lot of random transphobia thrown at her. Her trainer friend has been a great support through all of this. She contacted the attorney she used for her divorce, and my mum is spending a lot of time at her house. Turns out the business my dad is running is owned by mum. It was set up by my mum's dad in her name, so it belongs to her. I did not know this until now and assumed that my dad owned it. The whole situation is a huge mess right now. Dad is living in some hotel, and my grandparents left yesterday after a week of fighting and trying to force my parents back together. I know there's a lot more divorce drama to come, but I hope it calms down for now. Wow, how about that? Hopefully she ditches this loser and takes the business with her. Okay, another update, another month later. A lot of crap has happened since my last update. Firstly, I wanted to thank all the well-wishers on my previous posts. Writing these posts has helped me process the stuff that's happening, so I'm making another one. My mum's attorney, the one recommended by my mum's gym friend Lisa, has been a great help. She walked my mum through what's going to happen and reassured her. She started looking through the company stuff in preparation for the divorce proceedings, and we found a lot of shocking stuff. I don't know why I was surprised by this, but my dad was having affairs for a long time. He used company resources to book flights and resorts at holiday destinations. There were receipts for many trips with multiple women, spanning the last 10 years. Because he was always absent from our lives, my mum didn't suspect anything. It didn't seem like he made any effort to hide these. He also used the company email to talk to his secretary about the affair stuff. Turns out they were banging months before my dad asked my mum for an open relationship. This is what we gathered from their emails. After months of their affair, the secretary didn't want to remain a mistress, so she started pestering my dad to get a divorce. But they wanted my mum to initiate it so that he could get a massive chunk of the company. The secretary came up with the idea of asking my mum for the open relationship. They hoped that my mum would be horrified and ask for a divorce. They were caught off guard when my mum agreed. My dad got jealous when my mum started having sex. After initiating the divorce, he deleted all his emails and told his secretary to do it too. Unfortunately for him, they were still stored on the company email server. I haven't seen my dad in over a month. All of his communication has been through his attorney. He apparently wants half the company. My mum's attorneys are still looking for more evidence, but they told us that they don't expect him to get much with the evidence they have. Lisa has been supporting my mum through the whole ordeal. She also got a divorce because her husband cheated on her, so she's been helping my mum a lot. Opie adds in the comments, I expect it to go to trial because my dad is stubborn, so it's probably just going to be a normal divorce proceeding going forward, so unless something noteworthy happens, this might be the last update. Also, my mum was very happy when I told her that a lot of online strangers on Reddit were rooting for her. Someone asks, does your dad know that your mum's attorney was able to recover all his emails, or will that be a surprise at the trial? Opie says, not yet. They're going to use some of it to get my dad to settle, but I doubt he'll settle. Okay, and now 4 years later, we get another new update, and the final one so far. Hey guys, I was clearing out some saved passwords on my laptop today and stumbled back onto this throwaway account. Rereading my old post from 2022 was a wild trip. It honestly feels like a lifetime ago. I know it's been 4 years, but since the dust has completely settled, and there were also a lot of messages asking for an update, I figured I'd finally post a real update for anyone who remembers this mess. The divorce dragged on for a bit because my dad fought tooth and nail for half the business, but like we found out back then, my grandpa set the whole thing up in my mum's name. Once his lawyers realised that going to trial meant a judge would see exactly how much company money he blew on his 10 years of affairs and the other criminal headaches that might come with it, he folded. He took a sizable make-him-go-away payout to sign the papers and was officially booted from the company. My mum kept everything. She didn't want the stress of running it day to day, so she made herself chairman. She hired a real CEO and management team to do the heavy lifting, so now she just oversees the big picture and collects the profits. With all her free time, she actually went into business with her trainer friend Lisa. They opened a boutique gym together a couple of years ago. Lisa runs the fitness side and my mum handles the business end. She's 43 now, still absolutely shredded and living her best life. She's also casually dating a guy who is also divorced. They've been seeing each other for a few months, taking trips, and just having fun with zero pressure. She's so completely different from the quiet, submissive woman she was when I was growing up. As for my dad, well, he married the secretary. Turns out when you aren't using your wife's company to fund luxury vacations, life is a lot less glamorous. They live a pretty downsized, average life now. I'm 26 now and I'm in very low contact with him. We get lunch maybe twice a year, and it's always stiff and awkward. He still tries to make bitter, passive-aggressive digs about my mum, but I just ignore it or change the subject. Looking back, my dad's genius plan to ask for an open marriage so he could run off with his secretary and steal my mum's company was the best thing that's ever happened to us. It totally backfired on him, and it gave my mum the push she needed to realise she didn't need him. Thanks to everyone who rooted for her 4 years ago. About as good as updates get. Some final comments. I don't know about real life, but every movie or TV show where the dad runs the business that's actually owned by his father-in-law seems to result in either tragedy or comedy. I don't think it's ever appropriate for a parent to discuss their sexual problems with their child, especially sexual problems concerning the other parent. Yeah, I found that pretty weird in the start as well, but I guess when you think about how disconnected the father was from the family, it makes sense that, the mother needed someone to confide in, even though it is a little bit weird. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we're going to leave that story there and move on to the next. Alrighty, going over to relationships, this one was written by user Tattered Yahoo, and it's titled, I found out my wife of 10 years cheated on me. My wife and I both turned 40 this year. We have 3 kids under 10. Past couple of years have been less than romantic. I work all the time and she works 2 nights a week, so yeah, we've been falling out of touch. All the classic signs come up over the past 6 months. She dyes her hair, starts wearing cooler clothes, picks fights with me. About 2 months ago, I have the house to myself and decide to snoop. I see the text messages with a coworker. Apparently they kissed one night after work in his car. She says, and I believe her here, it didn't go further than that, but her text messages were very clear that she wanted to. Quote, I haven't wanted to connect with someone in so long. I want to see this through, the whole thing. That's burned into my brain. He rejected her though, so it never went further. I found out 2 weeks later. I text her that I found out. She takes a lot of pills before driving home. A friend takes her to the hospital and she's admitted indefinitely on suicide watch, gets diagnosed with bipolar 2, and she's been in a hypnomanic phase for months. This explains some of the behaviour. I'm almost immediately caring for her. She's released only a few days later. It's usually much longer than that, but she says she was super motivated to get out for the kids and played the game. I feel it was at least partly a deflection, but what choice do I have? I try watching out for myself, but I have kids, mortgage, a job, and a life, and I don't want to be a divorced dad living in my dad's basement. I make okay money, but not enough for 2 households. I love her, but I'm having a hard time getting past this. We're doing individual and couples therapy, and I've had some great and some intimate times since I found out, but she's kind of in survival mode and doesn't have a lot of energy to give, getting used to new meds, etc. i.e., I'm the one reading the marriage books. I want to be here for her, and I'm trying hard to work on me, but I feel guilty that I can't get past it, even though I know that's not rational. It's only been 2 months. Just tonight, after a failed sexy time, she was too tired, I googled the guy's name again, but this time I found his Twitter feed. On the night in question, he's tweeting he has a crush, and he tweets what looks like an inside joke, and it's eating me up. I know he rejected her, I saw the messages, but maybe there's more to it. What the hell is that inside joke? Man, this is rough, and it doesn't sit right with me that she immediately became the victim in all of this. Like, come on, OP's the victim here, and I can't help but feel like that was calculated on her part. Let's read the comments. Look, OP, she was rejected, okay? There was intent, and that's all you need to focus on. Will she try this again? Probably. Will you discover it this time? Hopefully. However you view marriage, whether you believe it's for life or until one party breaks vows, you need to realize the truth here. Your wife got all dolled up for another man, started treating you, her husband, like crap, and then got rejected by this guy, even though, as you say yourself, she wanted to go a lot further. Who's to say that if this guy actually wanted a relationship, that she wouldn't have left you for him? Is this the person who you want to make things work with? OP, bro, listen. From what you've told us here, she did not apologize or admitted to any wrongdoing. Instead of coming home to talk about it or continue to lie, she tried to commit suicide. Also, you tried to engage in sex after she did all of this. I'm kind of feeling like you see her as a goddess and want to keep her forever, but just let it go, man. Quote, just tonight after a failed sexy time, she was too tired. Do you think she would have turned down the other guy? That's the thought that would plague me. She would turn me down but was actively pursuing the other guy. She doesn't seem sorry that she almost had the affair, she only became upset that she got caught. Yeah, exactly. Okay, an update. 10 years later. Well, this certainly is the episode of long overdue updates, isn't it? All the advice in my previous post was reasonable, good advice. I'm glad I didn't take any of it. I'm still married, and I love my life and my wife, now 49. Like any marriage, there are things we work on, but in retrospect, the incident with the guy whose name I just realized I don't even remember, I'll call that progress, was truly a bipolar 2 hypnomanic phase, at a time that the medication she was on for depression only exacerbated the issue. Every year in May, on the anniversary of me finding out and her suicide attempt, for the first few years were very hard. It's gotten better every year. This year I didn't even notice till today, and it's over a week past. We vacation together, we're intimate several times per month, we have plans for when our kids are out of the house for a pop-up trailer and travel. I learned through the process of couples therapy how important it is for me to be okay with just me. If I'm alone or end up divorced, I will survive and retain my identity. I have my hobbies and have established my self-worth. She has continued to work on her mental health with professionals and has succeeded in avoiding the worst ups and downs. I love her, she loves me, and we're still gratefully together. All this to say, divorce and separation may be the right answer to a lot of situations. I don't take for granted that it isn't in my future, but you should know it's not the only solution for really bad situations. You may be able to work through it and be happy. One comment says, "You're delusional. You actually want a pop-up travel trailer?" He says, "Lol, we want an Airstream, but in this economy?" Love this update. Congrats. I appreciate the 10-year follow-up. I hope we start seeing more of these. Really helps all of us with perspective. I know someone who went into manic episodes due in part to side effects of antidepressants. They were completely detached from reality by the time they were temporarily institutionalized. Behaviors like taking off clothing in public, speaking to people not there, paranoia about angels and aliens, talking to TV and attempting to jump from moving cars. I'm happy they got help and worked it out. Yeah, as soon as I read that she was diagnosed bipolar and was in manic episode, I went, oh, my ex-fiancé has bipolar. 4 years into our relationship, a manic episode was triggered. By the time I was able to actually get him help and treatment, he was having full audio-visual hallucinations, conversations with Buddha. He was raised Catholic, thought he was with his uncle, he was alone, thought I was trying to feed him poison, his medication. It's not as simple as being a bit more energetic or feeling a bit sad. It is a profoundly affecting illness. Okay, this was definitely a twist ending. 100% did not expect things actually did get better in a story with cheating, a suicide attempt, and a very late bipolar diagnosis. Yeah, neither did I, to be honest. It's no wonder Opie's so hopeful at the end there, giving out some wise words of advice. Anyway, guys, that's it for that story, and that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed those ones. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.